Welcome to the Blaize interview. My name is Blaize, and this is
Olivia Xing.
Yes, thank you. Most of the people call you Crossing.
Yeah,
But it's all good. So, Olivia, you're actually not from America, right?
No,
So, where are you originally from?
I'm from China. I'm from Qingdao, China.
Oh, nice.
It's a coastal city, very much like LA.
Oh,
Very alcoholic.
alcoholic. Okay.
Very alcoholic.
Alcoholic. Okay, so when did you immigrate here to America?
6 years ago.
Okay.
For college.
Nice.
I have this set. I went to Bryn Mawr College, which is a women's college. Sorry, lesbians college. That's my introduction to America.
How was that a big contrast, coming from a very, because China's very like conservative. They're not like
Yeah, no.
more. I would say a little bit more proper.
We don't talk about lesbianism in China.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, lesbians.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like a big eye opener for you.
Oh my God, totally. Sexuality and then different pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
Different genders. That's one of the culture shock. I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And then, so when did you start getting into comedy?
It's a long story.
We got a long time.
Okay. Well, it's also a sad story. I think so. I didn't start watching comedy until I came to America, and my first introduction to stand-up comedy. Guess which comedian was it?
All right.
Someone very international.
International.
Very Canadian.
Canadian. There's so many Canadians.
Indian guy.
Oh. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name right now.
Russell Peters?
Yes, Russell Peters, yes.
Yeah. So he is probably one of the most famous comedians in China.
Really?
Surprisingly. Because his jokes are it's based on ethnicity, stereotypes, and it's very international, I would say. Started watching that, and then I started watching more American comedians, and I think I was like 19. My father passed, and I was depressed for a while, and all I could do was like watching comedy.
Nice.
So I had this idea of maybe I could do it, and then I went to study abroad in Paris.
Okay.
And I was bored because European university don't have as much as homework as we do, like American university.
Really? I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're chill. Yeah. Oh my God, European students, they're very chill, and they smoke a lot, they drink a lot, they fuck a lot.
Nice.
And I was like, damn, but I want to study.
You're like, damn, there's
no homework. So I found a little bar that has an open mic in English for all the English speakers.
Okay, cool.
In Paris. So I did like 3 sets, and then I came back. Then I went to New York, and it was pandemic. I did like 1 or 2 open mics in New York, but it was because it was in pandemic. I did it like in a subway station.
That's cool,
like
though.
In a park.
Yeah.
No, it's sad. It's utterly sad. There's nothing sadder
Than doing it in a subway.
Have you been to
New York?
New York.
I went in
winter.
September.
Have you done an open mic outside?
Not in winter. Well, yeah. Yeah, not since 2020, I'd say. But I would say this, like, it was fun in New York. I had a good time in New York. I was there this September 2022, and I landed at midnight 30, and I was sweating. Just sweating. It was midnight 30, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh, I was like,
no, it's not like LA,
no,
where there's a big temperature difference day and night. But winter, you won't be sweating. Like New York winter, and I was doing it outside, and you can't hear any laughter, because the wind just blow it away.
Do you know? Have you gone to outside mics here? Like
no, I think that traumatized me, and then I stopped doing. I never thought I would actually do this seriously, and then starting from literally this past summer, I was like, I gotta pick it up back. I have so much I need to say. So I started again in LA, and I started doing like 3 mics
a day. Nice.
And yeah, and that's how I got onto Aaron's show.
Yes, the deadpan.
Yeah, the deadpan, and that's where I met you.
Yes, and you're great. I love your set. You're always so funny. I love the Halloween set that you did, especially with the with your costume.
Yeah.
What's her name again? It was from Spirited Away, right?
No, Kiki's delivery service.
Yeah, yeah, Kiki's delivery.
Did you get the joke? Because I'm delivering comedy.
Yes.
It's a delivery. It's a delivery too, yeah.
That's a good. Oh, that's a double A. I like that. I like that. Smart.
Yeah.
So how we got into? You're starting in France, New York, now in LA. Like, what is your strategy when it comes to like going to mics and writing your own material? How do you come up with your material?
Well, sometimes in the shower.
Greatest place.
As people do. Sometimes from conversation that you have with your friends, and you're like, wait, this is funny. Do you do this too? Like, you just, at one point in the conversation, you just started doing your material, and you're like, wait, have a normal conversation. Stop thinking about comedy.
I'll do it sometimes at work.
Really?
With clients.
What do you do?
I'm a massage therapist.
You talk to... That's so funny.
But I do the clean stuff. Okay, because I have a whole... I do it... I have the dirty stuff that I say on stage and the clean stuff that I say to my clients.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
They're enjoying your jokes and your massage.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I tell a little bit... So I have a few massage jokes I tell. So like one of them is... you gotta take deep breaths. Because remember, when you hold your breath, your muscles and trigger points become tighter, causing you more pain. So deeper the pain, deeper the breath. And I'm working on this older woman. I kept telling her, breathe, breathe, breathe. She raised her head. She says, honey, this is a massage table, not a delivery table. Yeah, so like that's like one of the
That is very funny.
Yeah.
You will make a good delivery nurse.
Delivery nurse?
Yeah.
I actually do in-home services too. Healing home therapy. So I go to people's homes, apartments. My motto's healing in the comfort of your own home.
I think they're all related. I think that's, like, you have that should be your brand. Like, you do deliver everything.
I do.
Kids or comedy?
Kids. Kids, comedy, and massages.
Yeah.
I do. You know, what's interesting is I work with a lot of pregnant women, and when you're learning and you're going through the teaching process of learning pregnancy, they say, oh, now you gotta go feather touch. You gotta go light. You know, because there's these points where they could that myth where like if you hit certain trigger points, you can cause an abortion.
Oh, Chinese no.
Yeah. But you know what? It's a lie because let's be honest. If there was that, there would be less fucking single mothers. Think about it. Like how many times if a motherfucker knew you were pregnant, he would go cheek. Now you ain't now, bitch.
Yeah, that's why Roe Way happened.
See, Roe Way wouldn't happen if that shit was true. Because every time I work with pregnant women, they always say the same thing. They're like, oh, couldn't you go deep? And I was like, okay, I give them low pressure, and then they change optics, and they go a lot lower, and they're like, I need you to go deeper than that. And they like get demoted, like, deeper. And they're like really, really are just like, they need it deep. They don't want feather touch.
No.
Because you got like it's 20 pounds.
Yeah, I like that too.
Mm-hmm. It's always the little ones who do. I always say this. It's always the like 4'9", 80 pounds, 80-year-old women who are from like Asian women, just mad Chinese, Korean, Taiwanese.
Yeah.
They're like deeper. I'm like, man, if I go any deeper, I'm gonna break your bones. It's okay. I like it.
We love it.
Yes.
I don't know what's with that. Have you been to like a Korean a sauna place?
Like Kurswal? Yeah.
Yeah, like after that they scratch your...
Yeah, they have exfoliate.
Defoliate.
I don't like it because I don't like the roughness.
No, my mom, when I was a kid, we would, during the winter, because we didn't have enough hot water at home, we would go to a public bath. My mom would literally use like a sandpaper. It felt like a sandpaper. It's not a sandpaper, but it felt like that. And it's like, she's like, the deeper, the better. So
cleaner.
I just feel like we grew up being
punished.
Punished.
I grew up in Diamond Bar, which is basically like There's like a whole bunch of Asian folks live there now. So it's basically my yearbook is all Lee's, Kim's, Chin's. So I know it's
and
like,
then you.
and then me, it was like one of the black kids one day. He went around the whole school and counted up. There was like 12 black kids in the whole school. Yeah, so he was like,
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like 80% Asian and then 20% everything else.
What about white kids?
They're part of it.
They don't go to.
They go there. There's a good amount, but like where I grew up, there's like Tesla charging stations there now in the student parking lot.
Oh.
Yeah. There's Snoop Dogg son took his son there.
I guess it's a different generation.
Yeah. I wish you know what's even worse? All that shit was built right after I left. They got a brand new swimming pool. They got brand new turf field. The year after I graduated, Snoop Dogg's son went there, and they got like all brand new gloves. They got brand new jersey.
Snoop Dogg's son went there
for like 2 years. Yeah.
That's so funny.
It was a rumor back in the 90s. The teachers talk about it all the time. The ones who's like been there is like supposedly Britney Spears, when she was living in California, she was supposed to go there.
Oh.
She was supposed to, but then things happened. Damn. She didn't go there, and then.
Sounds like an urban legend.
It is an urban legend. It's the legend of the Diamond Bar.
That's cool. Damn. So I was born and raised in China, and like the school I went to, we're all Chinese. There are a little bit different ethnicities. Like Han is the main ethnicity, but then there are sometimes there are students that are Uyghur or like other minor ethnicities.
Yeah, Asian ethnicities.
But still, like we're all Chinese. There's no like color difference.
Yeah.
That's just interesting how you would see your classmates like Asian guys, black guys, and.
Well, you just kind of like get used to it because it's such a melting pot. Like you just always like. Here's the thing is like we always just shit each other like on how we look, you know, being Asian, being Mexican, being black, you know, just say, oh, your dad's not around, and it's like, well, at least I have my parents and shit like that, or like.
I love that because like people would. I know there are some comedy sets.
Yeah.
Being saying like because like Chinese art, I think it's a Dave Chappelle set. He says that's how China's gonna control the world because they don't have racism like. They're over there, everyone's just Chinese. But I'm like, no, that's not true, because we just look the same. If you put someone who look different from us in a very homogeneous group of people, I'm pretty sure Chinese will be pretty racist.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard the stories of that. I mean, Hong Kong, I mean... Isn't there been like instances where like
there are a lot of African immigrants?
Yeah, a lot of African immigrants out there, and they I've heard stories like they get treated bad or they get kind of worse service, kind of like you know they not. I don't know. I'm not well educated enough to truly speak on all of that.
Yeah, no.
But like I would say, they get treated definitely like second class citizens from what I've heard on YouTube and reading.
That's what I heard too, and there are other like ethnicity groups treated badly, like the Uyghurs. It's
I mean, there's the genocide out there.
Yeah, the whole another problem.
What do you have any opinions if you don't have something on like the whole Hong Kong and China taking over Hong Kong? Like, how do you feel about that? Being from the more China mainland.
Oh my God, This if you're gonna put it on YouTube, I'm gonna get it.
You're gonna. Oh, so we can't talk. We'll skip that part then.
No, I would. Okay, so you know what?
The government's always right.
I would say most of the time government is not that right, and I would say what they've done to a blooming democracy and a blooming. I would just talk about like the film and TV media industry. What they've done with their censorship and censor all the good Hong Kong movies and TVs. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I
mean, they've been putting pretty much like a black shield over it, and like all the media information coming out of it. I mean, when it happened like 2 years ago, like when COVID and China coming over, like we heard a lot of things, but then as the years been going on these last years, I haven't heard anything.
It's okay. It's COVID. This is like, at first, like China is like censoring things because of COVID, and like the international were like countries like the Western countries were kind of mad, and then you guys fucked up so bad.
Explain.
Well, for example, what Trump did, like, you fucked up.
Example. You gotta give me
Example.
Explain it. You can't just say it. You gotta explain it.
Okay, try to explain it. Well, first of all, it's great that you have vaccine, but then people are like, no, that's not. No, we against vaccine. We don't want to have that. And Trump's like, spreaded so many misinformation. And I don't want to spread those information again, so I would not say them again. Okay. But you could go on research. But I'm just saying that I'm so mad that American did a bad job, so that some Chinese people would be like, look at America, that's bad. That's
so Chinese look at Americans and like look at the Americans how they do it.
Yeah, like how they suck, how
they suck.
because they're talking about how like the federal government isn't doing a good job, and maybe we need a more strong-handed
oversight
and like concentrated power.
Okay.
To manage in a very urgent, emergent situation.
Yes. Because I got vaccinated. I was just with me. It's just like it's same thing with like any kind of like the flu. You know what I mean? You got to get vaccinated every year for the flu. Yeah. That's how I see it. Like N1, H1. Like I understand. Like when I was a kid, I remember reading a history book about polio and the vaccine. And so what they did is they had a control group. So they had a set of twins, right? One twin had the vaccine for polio, the other one didn't. And the one who didn't have the vaccine was just all covered in boils and shit. And ever since I was a kid, I was like...
Science.
Bitch.
Yes. No, but so at first we're like, no, maybe this kind of government, it's not okay. We should ask our government to make the information more clear. Should not censor. We should have a less... centralized power. But then we look at America, it's like, damn, I guess a lot of people die over there. So maybe we want the government to keep building hospitals really fast and like concentrate all the resources and like ration them. But then there's another problem. Like if you willing to give away your rights and power to a government like that, yes, in the time of war or emergency, maybe they could make you feel safer.
Yes.
But then when will it give the rights back to you?
Oh, never.
Never. Exactly.
The more they take.
Exactly.
The more you give, the more they take, and they won't.
That's all. Yeah, that's what's happening right now in China. Like, after 3 years, most the countries in the world have opened up. And not until, like 2 months ago or a month ago, China's still not open up. And we have this thing called zero COVID policy. Yeah. And then so people went down the street and protested and be like, enough already.
I feel like once you're vaccinated, now that we have the vaccine, who cares? Because it's kind of, I'm kind of done with it.
I'm kind of done with it.
I've been done with it. It's like, oh, you're not worried why you're not wearing a mask? It's like, look. I'm vaccinated. I protect myself. I eat good enough. Not great. I eat good enough. I try to take vitamins, but like I'm not out here like worried about the flu. I'm not worried about getting measles and stuff. I'm not worried about monkeypox. So I'm just done caring.
Yeah, but same. And enough. It's enough.
Enough is enough.
But in China, it's another situation. I've been following because all my families are there.
Yeah.
So I've been following what's going on, and up until last month, my mom's still in lockdown. And that's kind of crazy.
Depressing, sad. Yeah.
That's depressing. Like nobody can go to work. Nobody can make any money. Like, and
that's just weird.
If you're sick, you're sent to a hospital that's almost like a concentration camp. No, I mean in a way that they just like they lock up everyone who's sick in the same building, in the same hospital, and then they required like 3 COVID tests every day. it depends on the region. It's kind of crazy, and then there's like a thing that you upload your data and it tracks where you go.
Yeah.
That's like.
I remember I heard last month or earlier this month there was
like a sci-fi shit.
Well, they made these Chinese students made these clothes that make you undetectable by the cameras and they can't like see you. You heard about?
I heard about
that
too.
But apparently they're like it's also because like they're trying to train the software so that way they can overcome that.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
it's fucking scary to talk about artificial intelligence.
Oh, don't even. That like artificial intelligence is one of the things that freaks me out. The only thing that freaks me out too is cloning. Because
you're afraid you're not gonna be as intelligent.
Oh wow, jeez.
That's what I'm afraid.
I mean, you're not wrong. You ain't gonna be so right. No, it was like with me is like cloning. When I'm like the 23andMe's on those DNA tests. My fear is like one day they're gonna like in 100 years they're gonna use that DNA and then they're gonna regenerate us and then use us for like manual labor and have our own slave clone army. Like think about it. Like how easy would that be? Like, you just mass produce, like, 10,000 people. You know what I mean?
Hopefully I'll be dead.
In 100 years?
I don't know. Maybe Earth will be dead.
I don't know. You know, thin women from China tend to live pretty long.
Asians don't die.
No, Asians don't die. They're long for a long time. It's the bitterness. You know what it is? It's the deep scrubbing. It's the deep scrubbing.
Oh,
it adds years to your life.
I hope I live long enough to see a democracy in China. That'd be nice. I don't even know when that will happen before talking about, cloning and robots.
Let's be honest. For that to happen, there literally would have to be riots and a revolution in China.
It's hard.
I mean, literally, I would say millions of people probably have to die.
I don't want that to happen.
But especially when you have government, and there's no easy change of government like that.
Where is your family from?
Mexico. So both my parents are in Mexico.
Have they been through the revolution?
No, not well. They went through my grandparents, but like my parents, they didn't. They just grew up poor. That's the only revolution they went through. They went through getting money. But like my parents, they moved here to America for a better life because they had more opportunities, better jobs. My mom, funny enough, my grandfather used to live here in America in LA and would send money back home every month. And my mom would say they had a much better life in Mexico. They had a house. She had her own room. She had two sisters. She had her own room. She even had her own maid. She said the first night she spent here in LA in their 1-bedroom studio apartment, on the floor, sleeping with her sisters and brothers because they didn't have a mattress or really that much of a blanket. She looked up. She looked around. She says, "Fuck, we're poor."
Yeah.
She said, she went from having a maid to being a maid.
That's such a hard choice. Like, how do you know whether this is a better life?
Well, what's the thing is, like, it's not that far when you really think about it. Like, you had to travel, what is it, like a 10-mile flight? A 10-hour flight from China?
12 to 13.
Yeah. Oof, that's a long flight.
Yeah. And then sometimes you transfer. I've transferred in, like, weird airports, like, I've transferred in like Renchen Airport in Korea. I've transferred in Istanbul.
Okay.
I feel like I've been to more countries just through layovers.
Layovers. That's cool though. That's interesting. Get something at the gift shop while you're there.
Yeah, they're nice.
But like for my family, it's like going back to my grandma's place. It took us like 8 hours, 12 hours to get there. So I mean that's driving, And so it's not like it's like moving states. You know what I mean? It's like moving from California, probably New Mexico. Yeah. So it's like, you're still on the same continent versus with you, you're living the entire continent.
Yeah. No, but it's a different language. I think
that's true.
I think what makes the difference, it really is the language rather than the distance. For example, like for America to move to England, to UK, maybe it wouldn't be that much
of a transition.
Because I feel like language defines culture and how our world will view, and and like comedy is all about it, right? Like we all speak our different languages, so we have different insights to this world,
different types of cultures,
and then we have different kinds of jokes.
Yeah, that's very true.
A lot of my jokes about how like weird English is, and like we talked about Roe Wei, and I had a joke about like English. In English, you say "I'm up for it" and "I'm down" to mean the same thing. But knocking someone up and knocking someone down means very different. So maybe the Roe Wei happened because they thought we'll knock a woman down by knocking them up.
Yeah.
And then you have the English lesson about no means no. Duh. Of course, no means no. No can't means yes. But it's just like the fact. I think it's immigrating to another country and learn the language is the hardest part.
That's true. That's true. I mean, for my family, especially speaking Spanish, like speaking Spanish is easy. There's Spanish speaking stores, Spanish speaking restaurants. Like you can go pretty much in LA your whole life and only go to Spanish speaking places. Whereas I feel like you're saying, like you're coming over here in America. Like, especially LA, it's like there's a huge hodgepodge of different languages. There's a lot of English, a lot of Spanish, but in certain areas there's also a lot of Asian cultures.
Yeah, the fucked up thing is like they think speaking good English as a sign of intelligence, which is like weird because like people like they would say like this immigrant who doesn't speak a good English maybe not that smart.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Maybe this person's very smart
in their own fucking language.
In their own fucking language, exactly. But because they don't speak the language, they can't be an architect in this country. They have to do like I don't know, janitor, or like a waitress because that's like you sort of think that English is almost like a superior.
I feel like that's the British fault.
Probably.
I mean, kind of like big proper British, you know what I mean? Like kind of thing. I mean, here in America, we have this thing, this is America, speak American.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so stupid because when you go, like, everywhere in America, they speak different. Like, go to Massachusetts, go to Boston, or Atlanta, Miami, LA, Arizona. Like, every single area has its own little, like, accent, its own little slurs, its own little like you said, culture and language is so different there.
Yeah. And Lucy speaks another language.
She's sleeping.
She doesn't speak much. But
she sleeps like she fucking works hard. This bitch, she sleeps like she fucking wakes up like 6 a.m. She out here snoring. I come in like, bitch, you fucking loud as shit. She snores like she would day labor or some shit. Like, nah, bitch, you just sit here all day just sleeping.
I wish I'm a dog sometimes.
Just get your belly rubbed all day.
I bet if they speak English, they're fucking intelligent. They probably see a lot. They notice a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like you were just talking about when you came in, like how your cat sitting, and you realized I hate cats.
I like dogs so much better.
So much better.
They're I can trust them. I could. Also, I didn't grow up with a pet.
Okay.
The most I had was a goatfish.
A goatfish?
Who died pretty soon because they don't fucking ration their food you give them. So like I would overfeed them and they would just die next day.
So yeah.
Never had a pet.
No, you had a pet. You just murdered the pet.
Yeah.
It's not Animal Farm. Animal Graveyard, whatever it's called. There's a famous show or play where it's about like all their animals that they killed and they died. They all bury them in the animal graveyard, and then like something happens and all the animals come back to life and come and attack them.
The attacked human?
Yeah, it's like this horror story.
The human should die.
Humans should die. You're like, this plague should have wiped on us.
I honestly think about it. Maybe COVID happened for a reason.
Like, it's like not enough people died.
I'm not saying that. It's so hard. Like sometimes I feel so sad that like I see innocent people die because the lack of access to like healthcare and healthcare in America, and the were just like a roof on above their head, but then I think of human as a whole, and I'm like, yeah, we should
die.
We should be wiped out from this planet. We're doing nothing good.
Well, the thing is, like I always say, is like these kind of activists have a point about like, oh, we should do better, we should recycle, we should. But at the point, what's it too much? Like, I get it, but I'm not going to like leave my luxuries. Like, I'm not going back to single ply sweat paper, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's like you gotta have single ply.
Like my parents came to America for me to enjoy the luxuries.
Yeah, luxuries of life, not to fucking have single ply, not to like these. They're like, oh, we gotta go away, we gotta live in the woods, we gotta eat off the land. It's like, bitch, I want a burger. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, totally.
I love it. I love the message, but they're just too crazy, especially what they're doing with all the paint and the art, where they're just throwing food on it.
Paint with what?
You haven't heard? So what they've been doing recently is they've been going. A lot of these activists have been doing like these crazy political stunts. So they go to like the Louvre and they throw soup on the was it what's her name?
Oh, I saw that news.
Yes.
The good thing is that they didn't directly throw it onto the painting. I think there's a glass. And I don't know. I thought that's cool. Recently I just started to really support anything radical. I'm like, we're not brave enough. Sometimes, like, if you think about it, like, the best comedy I love are the kind of comedy that say or do things that we all thought about but never had the gut to speak out about. And it's like, so for example, that incident, and I'm like, you know what? It's just a fucking art. And it's a fucking art painted by another human. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're another human, you disagree, do it. Go ahead and do it. You have your message, and it's rather pretty righteous message.
I get you.
They were have the execution to actually manage doing it, and they'd have to sneak in the paint, I guess, and they have to do
soup. It was kind of soup.
The soup. I mean, it's fucking cool.
They did it in Detroit a few months ago. These climate activists, they glued themselves to the floor of this of a warehouse where they were doing I think it was like Porsches or something like that. I don't remember. But it was like all these like luxury cars, and they glue themselves to the floors, and they're like, "We need food. Give us buckets so that way we can use the restroom." And they said, "All right, bye," and they closed off the lights, and they just left, and they just left the climate activists there for like the whole night, and they just didn't give them food or water or anything. And it's like, well, that's your own decision. Like, you decided to do that. Like, we ain't gotta.
Yeah, no, that's another evidence of like the guts you have to have. By doing something that radical, you know. Recently, I have a classmate at school who's like, we should ban music. You know why? Because music, his claim is that music is fascist because they use loudness to prevent communication, and also like in almost all the almost all the tyrant use music to provoke like nationalism. Like, for example, Nazi, they use their music, and like especially national anthem is such a fascist thing. So he's like, we should ban music. And I was like, you know what? Most people don't have a point. If you have a stand on an issue, I respect that. You know, because I feel like at this time, we usually don't take a stand, and it's like, oh, mushy, and like everything's all right, whatever. Like, I guess they all make sense, whatever. But I admire when I see someone who really has a strong stand on things. You know.
I feel that. No, because like a lot of people, like I said, like people, they'll say things, but they don't have that. I was like, oh, why? I was like, oh, you can't say that. Why? It's like, oh, because that's mean. Why is it mean? Because you shouldn't say that. I was like, why shouldn't I say that? Like, explain to me why I shouldn't say that. Because it offends me. Why does it offend you? I was like, and most of the time, I hate when people get offended on your behalf. That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Oh my god, so many people get offended on my behalf. I let people be like, you should be offended by this joke about Asian. I'm like, no, because I have a fucking sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Like, a lot of people, they'll say, like, it's a funny joke, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't say that. And I was like, bitch, no.
That's so funny. And then there's other... So recently, I posted a clip online on YouTube, and there's one joke about my last name, and I say it's crossing, and I'm like, it's bold of you to assume an Asian woman could have a traffic sign last name. It's a good joke.
Yeah.
And this person's like, a host said based on your ethnicity stereotype. Yeah. I'm like, well, jokes are based on stereotype, but I'm not supporting it. I'm saying that because the tagline to that joke is like, I call it progressive racism, because Asian woman could have a traffic sign. They just like think they know about jokes and they have a higher moral stand and be like,
they're grandstanding for no reason. I was like, one time, this happened to me, which made me upset, is I was with this girl at the time, and we were together long enough that I went to family dinners. Cool. And so I went to a family dinner, and they were FaceTiming their family in Ohio. And her uncle was like, oh, Blaize, and he goes, fuego, and I was like, yeah, like fire. And he's just like, he called me fuego, and I thought it was funny. And then she, oh, you shouldn't say that. And she got mad. It's like, oh, you should apologize. And I was like, he shouldn't apologize. Like, he's trying to, like, communicate and connect with me using language. You know what I mean? And he's trying to, like, make a joke. And I get where he's coming from. It's like, yeah, fuego, hot. You know what I mean? Because I am hot. I'm spicy, too. And it's kind of like, you gotta, and that's how it was. I was like, hey, yeah. Like, he's trying to, like, hot. And I was like, that's cool. And you know what I mean? And she's like, she got upset and hung up the phone. And I got upset at her for doing that. Like, she's so woke that she's, like, and it's, like, regressive. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing too much, and it's actually, I feel like it's pulling us back. Like, they don't realize, like, we have our own fucking people. We have our own agency. We're our own fucking people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's... So it's coming back to what I said about, like, having a stand, having a point. Like, yes, do have a stand on issue, but also, like, respect other people's boundary and respect other people's perspective and see how everyone could think differently. And it's hard. It's really, really hard, especially when everyone's like trying to lecture you.
But like how so? Like just about like what you should and shouldn't.
Oh, especially because if they know that I'm from another country, or like I speak another language, and if I say something, they'll be like, no, English, like it doesn't work this way, or like in America it shouldn't be like this way, but I'm like, America could be more international, like to accept how people from other parts of the world do things. And also, but then I recently, like, for example, I wrote a play,
nice.
And there's a part of there's a character that's a teacher who physically abused the student, and one of my friend who went to a private school be like, this is not, I'm not sure whether American audience would relate to this because our teacher don't beat our student. And then my black friend was like, I'm pretty sure they did in my school. So then I realized sometimes if you don't talk about things, you don't have the representation of something, and then people literally would deny the existence of it.
Yeah, because I mean, these, they want to make you like fit in their bubble kind of thing, and in their thoughts. But like when it comes to comedy with that aspect, like do you have certain venues that you feel like you want to go to, or you frequent more because you feel more free and you feel like it's like they're not as restrictive? Because like sometimes you go to some clubs and they're like no matter what you say, they always come up to you afterwards and like, oh, you shouldn't say that.
That's so interesting. I love so far. I loved all the clubs in LA. I feel like LA audience are really trained comedy audience. Like I feel like audience, if you haven't seen stand up, this is such a weird art form. I mean, you wouldn't distinguish what is truth, what is lie, what is sarcasm, what is sincerity. I feel like audience need to be trained to follow the comedian's point of view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm so afraid, like they would think when I'm being sarcastic, I'm like
being serious.
I actually mean it, and it's the scariest thing. And then so in LA, but LA is also very diverse.
Yes.
So like performing at a comedy store is a completely different thing than performing in Semi Valley.
Yeah.
In a bar.
Yes.
Oh my God! I went to a bar the other day in Semi Valley. It's called Junkyard Cafe. I arrived and it was like, damn, this is gonna be the place where I'm murdered. But they're actually very nice. The whitest audience I've ever had. Oh,
you haven't gone to Orange County then?
Wait, I thought there were a lot of Chinese in Orange County.
There's a lot of Chinese, but there's also it's mainly like people don't realize how Southern California is until they go to Orange County.
Interesting.
You'll do great in Orange County. I know you would.
Okay, thank you. And then when I'm this is how white they were. They had a table says dedicated to it's called a white table, and with American flag on it, and it says like white means like purity, and
what?
It's very weird. They didn't say
white pride without saying white pride.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. But their audience actually are pretty nice. Yeah, like, well, I got upstage. There is one audience who's like, "Ni hao."
Yeah.
I'm like, interesting. Like, they don't say hello to all the comedian coming on stage. I don't know. So, and then I proceeded with my joke about how, like, the catcalls on the street for woman that looked like me, who looked like very ethnically clear that I'm Chinese, and they usually assume I don't speak English and like use the words they know in my language, but the only words they know are the politest words. So I get the politest catcall, like saying hi and thank you, like 谢谢. So I'm like, you're welcome. But so I did that to follow up with this heckle, sort of a heckle. But then that guy took it pretty nicely.
They usually do. They want to.
Yeah. Because then they realize that this is not just it's because sometimes I feel like comedians, left or right comedian would divide the room by saying like, I'm woke, you're not, like you're you're white, I'm not,
yeah.
You're Republican, I'm Democrat.
Yeah.
But I feel like when they see a Chinese woman who's actually made in China and
actually made in China. That is the best. I ain't gonna lie. You should get a shirt actually made in China.
And then they're like, "Oh, you're telling us what American is. Like, what does it mean to be American? The stupid thing about America and the good thing about America."
Yeah.
So they sort of feel like they don't feel the as much divisive spirit in the room.
I get that. Yeah. You wanna bring the room together.
Yeah. And also, I'm calling out not only Republican or Democrat. I'm calling out all of you, all of the Americans.
All Americans are stupid.
Yeah. Not you, Lucy.
Well, technically, she's not American. She's a junkyard.
Oh, whoa.
She's a junkyard dog.
Aww.
So she was born in my parents' shop. So she was for the first 2 years of her life. She was out in the.
So you think she's a first generation?
Well, she's first generation housebroken. Her mom and dad were on the street. She looks more like her mom. But she's a little bitch, like I said. She's a jealous little bitch. She usually, whenever I bring women around, she's always just like, who's this hoe?
I think she likes me.
For now, surprisingly.
Aw.
See?
See?
Look at her. That's one of the few people she actually likes. It's surprising. She doesn't even like Charlie that much.
Really? Aw. I love dog. I have a dog at home. His name is Oliver.
Oh, nice.
Who has... I know.
Who did you name him?
No, my landlord adopted him before I came, and it was the sweetest thing. Now she has she adopted me. I always say sometimes I open my set with this joke I'm looking for a green card marriage husband, but I'm also open to adoption. Whichever is easier for you.
Just take a white family.
Yeah.
I can make you proud and go to Stanford for you.
Oh.
And you won't have to pay.
No. Oh, this is so funny.
No, she's good. No, but which clubs do you usually frequent the most, and which ones do you like going to the most, and why? Which open mics do you feel like working out?
Open mics.
Yeah, which mics do you like to do the most, so that way you can work out your material the best at?
Wow. That just made me realize how I haven't been to... how long I haven't been to a mic.
How long has it been?
It's been a while. I just did my first taping of the special, my special.
Oh, nice.
And it was at school, and it's called Party School.
Okay.
Because my dad went to a party school in China.
Is there such thing as party schools in China?
It's called Central Academy of Communist Party of China. A different kind of party school.
That's funny.
So it's called Party School, and I talked about the politics, especially. People ask me why do you want your special so early into the game, and I was like, I feel like it's a special, but it's also sort of a protest, because there have been protests in China.
Yeah.
Against how our president literally started the third term.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, a red flag. And it's our national flag. So there were protests happening, and I was I have friends that were put in jail, and I was I wanted to do something that I could do to support and spread the message. So I was yeah, I wanna do this.
That's cool.
And I did it at school, so I went to CalArts. So
where'd you go?
CalArts, California Institute of the Arts.
Okay.
So I had this theater for free.
Okay, nice.
And I have my film students, friends, to tape it for me for free, so that was a good deal.
Is that what you came here, the school you came here originally for was for film?
Yeah, for acting.
You came here for acting?
No, I came to America to study literature.
Literature?
Yeah, because I was bad at math. And then I'm at grad school for acting. But then, so I did special, and then I realized I haven't been to open mic for a while, because I've been just doing my set again and again and again. Maybe I really should go back to mic. One of the mic I really love is Big Chili.
I love Big Chili. It's literally around the corner from here. I go there all the time. I need to go there more.
And it's so funny. Roger, is his name Roger, right?
Which one?
The black guy, Roger.
Yeah. Robert.
Roger.
Roger or Robert?
I think it's Roger. Oh, damn. If you're here. But anyway, it was so funny because my set are very political, and he's like, yeah, I love, like, he's like, so what do you think about Taiwan? Well, it's part of China.
Oh!
I'm kidding.
Oh, now I'm going to have to end this. I'm just kidding.
No, you're canceled. Now you have to end this.
No,
he's like, I was like, what if I'm a spy? And he's like, yeah, just like check out the underbelly of the city of all the weird comedians. I'm like, yeah, if I report this back, China will be like, I think we got them. I think we don't have to worry about this bunch of losers.
Oh, jeez, thanks. That's how she really feels about y'all.
I love comedians.
Yeah, we're all a strange bunch.
The best group to hang out with. So strange, and everyone get to be how strange they actually are, which is not allowed in this society. You don't get to say shit like that.
This crazy shit that some people say shit and just like,
I know. I'm like, ooh.
You know when someone says crazy shit and you gotta look for someone else like, this motherfucker said this shit.
Yeah. They're like, I'm glad you got that out of your system on stage instead of in life. You know.
That's the thing is like, I feel like there's two ways of bombing. Either A, you like stick with your set and just go power through it, or B, you like admit your bombing and try and like just dive straight into bombing more on purpose kind of thing, trying to like recover. Like, how do you feel like you go through bombing? Lucy,
I have a theory about bombing. I don't remember who I heard this from, but I think it's a friend of a friend.
Late night session at a comedy set.
It's about, like, bombing. It's not about if the audience is laughing. It's about whether the audience is listening. So it doesn't. It's about whether you're still in control. So now I'm more and more comfortable with my audience not laughing. If they are actually listening.
So this okay.
I think that's how I look at bombing. And so for my special, the second half of the special, I'm literally getting more and more political and more serious about the thing, because I don't want it just to talk about in a sense of could all just be jokes, and talk about how like my friends are in jail, and people ask me how to like if I say things like they should step down, blah, 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 who the country will be a mess, blah blah blah. I try to unravel those things, and my audience didn't really laugh that much, but I know they're listening very intently, and that's I think it's better than they're just laughing. Yeah. Without thinking what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because I went to, a few years ago, I went to a show, not a show, but what's the right word? Not a convention, but like a class. There you go, class. I went to a class about like how to get booked on like shows, like Jimmy Kimmel, and do like your set on like for like your 3-minute or 5-minute set for them. And they said, literally, we don't care if people are laughing. We're not paying attention to that. We're only paying attention to your jokes. So long as you do good and the tape and your cadence and everything's good, we don't really care because we know how rooms are. So it's more just about is your material good or not, and kind of like be fit for TV. And one thing I learned about early on is like you have to have a clean set. And I feel like a lot of comics, they can't do it, or they're just unwilling to do it. Me, it's just really hard. It takes a lot of brain power.
Really?
I feel for me, it's more mentally tougher and difficult. Like you have to do more.
What kind of a dirty mind do you have to be mentally
challenged? Remember that breathing joke I told you earlier?
Yeah.
So the second part to that is, that's what the older woman said, but the younger woman I was working on one time, I was working on her. I was saying, breathe, breathe, breathe. She raised her head and she's like, oh, so it's like taking deep dick. Deeper the dick, deeper the breath.
That's funny.
So yeah, it's kind of like it's like the juxtaposition of something coming out, the juxtaposition of something coming in.
This is so funny. Stand-up comedy just got popular in China, and it got popular through TV. So the stand-up comedy scene in China. Well, this is a generalization because there are definitely people who are doing blue jokes, but most of the sets are really clean. I'm like, wow, this is a different scene.
So you done show mics and shows in China?
I've done mic and shows in Chinese on Zoom, but I haven't been back to China for like 6 years. 6 years.
Okay, that's cool.
It's been a long time. But recently, it got really, really popular, and people... Because it's not a thing. Like, stand-up comedy, it's a pure American thing. And even humor. We didn't have the word humor in Chinese language until a literist and a translator translated humor to Chinese. It's such a strange thing. We also have words that doesn't exist in Chinese but doesn't exist in English. It just says how the society function differently. It's going back to the language. So humor is translated in I don't remember, like 19th or 20th century, and then we started to have more humorous art form. But this stand-up comedy literally just started getting popular in the past 5 years. But already it's banned from talking about COVID.
This is why. This is why we can't have nice things.
It's why we can't have nice things. Okay.
It's just too much. The thing is the overreach, and that's the thing is like we have this in here in America. It's like, oh, we can't say this, you can't say that, and it's like it gets to the point. It's like, well, you have to eventually say it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a big component is like if someone doesn't like me or someone says something, I want you to explain it to me. Oh, I don't like you. Why? Because I just don't like you.
I like how you asked me, give me an evidence example. You can't just say it without giving an example. Yeah,
because I have Asperger's and I'm dyslexic, so I don't like to read between the lines. I can't. So I have to. I want people to tell me and express yourself, because there's so much layers to what you're saying that I feel like once you start unpacking it, you won't believe what you're saying.
Exactly, I agree. That is. I need to process that. Once you start unpacking what you're saying, you may not believe what you're saying anymore. Yes. I think it's so true. I think, ask someone why they vote in a way that they vote, and once they start talking about things, you're like, you don't know what you're talking about. And sometimes these people are actually voting for their own against themselves. Yeah, because they've been so programmed and they think that this is what it really is, but when you really boil it down and you really look into it, it's it's not what you really think it is. And I feel like a lot of folks aren't. Such a wise, intelligent.
You know about Justice Clarence Thomas of the Supreme Court. So you know how he's been getting a lot of hate because of his wife, right? And how his wife was, she was apparently at January 6th or whatever, supposedly, and she's really into the Republicans. And what I find interesting is he actually voted against gay marriage back in 2008, but he's married to a white woman. And 50 years when he voted against gay marriage, 50 years before that, him being married to a white woman was against the law, and it took the Supreme Court to overturn that. So think about that man couldn't be married to that white woman, but he 50 years ago before then, and now another woman can't be married because he doesn't think it doesn't fit his view. But those justices back then wouldn't want him to have married his wife, so that to me is where I first didn't like Clarence Thomas, that people don't, but now that he's getting all this shit, I'm now y'all motherfuckers giving him shit. I've been hating on the motherfucker for 10 years now, and it's I hate on him, I respect him, he's done great things, but he's kind of you can see where when you really look into people's histories and you really think and go through the processes, how weird life is. Like, think about that. 50 years ago,
we're contradictory beings.
Yes.
That's what bothers me the most. It's one of the things that bothers me the most is how some minorities group don't support other minority groups. I'm like, do you realize that we're in the same fight?
Yeah. How going to that? Like, the Asian hate that's been going on the last few years. Like, how do you feel about that? If you want to speak on that, like, did it affect you, or like, did you feel any effects of it?
Yes, because at that time I was living in New York, and there are hate crimes happening in New York almost every day.
Even now,
every time I go to take the subway, I'm like, someone gonna push me down to it's not like I could hide.
No,
because I couldn't wear a face mask. That will look like I'm robbing the bank. But if the hatred is literally based on how you look, there's literally, unless you don't go on the street, but you have to go and get food and do things. There's no way to hide from such things. And then you think about, this is New York. This is supposed to be the most progressive city in the country. I can't even imagine how the Asians down south, like how they survive, like people with guns.
Yeah.
That was fucking nuts. I have this joke about like people yelling at me, Chinese virus. I'm like, why do you know my stripper name? Follow me on OnlyFans. I am feverish and contagious. Yes. But that is like sort of to use comedy as a coping mechanism to an actual fear. Yeah. Because I can't talk. Because if without this joke and like sort of try to laugh at it when someone yelled at me the slur, I would be very depressed every time like I yelled at.
It's hard because and there's nothing like you did or anything you can control.
Exactly.
It's very hard. Like, and I can see where it can just be just disgusting, the facts, like all the things that happen, and I like how you use comedy to like point these injustices out.
And then people on YouTube be like, she's using Asian stereotypes to blah blah blah. I don't get it. I think I'm trying to deconstruct the racism and the stereotype.
You feel like kind of like Dave Chappelle is doing, like with how people are saying he's like transphobic and all that. You kind of feel like, not saying part for part, but similar how he's being prosecuted in that way and try and cancel him because of that.
That's another hot shit that I don't know how to talk about. It's like so complicated because everything is reveled into it, like the racism, anti-Semitism, and then at one point it becomes like minorities fighting minorities. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? We should have been fighting the real bad guy. Instead of fighting each other, because it's hard. And then there's like poor people who actually believes that this one ethnicity group steal all their money. Yeah,
I don't get that. I never really understood this.
But that like both so one side is like classism, and but like the people in lower class would have this racism, and then it's like everything is tangled together. But then eventually you're like, maybe that's their agenda. Maybe that's like the powerful rich people want you to fight with each other. So
divide us.
You're divided, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's a conspiracy theory. Well, why there's a liquor store in every corner in the hood, but it is like that. Like I always feel like we're trying to we're so hard to be inclusive that we're creating all these little boxes that we're dividing ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to, okay, we're all going to be together, but with these little groups, we got to make sure to take care of these little groups, and then this little group over here, and then these people over here, and it's kind of like we're trying so hard to make everyone feel welcome that we're really pushing everyone to the side to, focus on specific. You have to be, you're an immigrant, you're trans, you're this, you're that. You have to mark off the X's. Something that I found, which I hate, is like, oh, she's the first woman this, she's the first black that, they're this, they're that. I was like, well, who was the 35th that? You know what I mean? How about let's not worry about,
that I have a different opinion, because I totally agree with what you're saying, but I also feel like, but then you also want to give credits.
To recognition.
And recognition. Mm-hmm. It's just like, how do we balance?
Yes. And I feel like sometimes it's just too much pandering. You'll hear a lot of folks is like, oh, I'm voting for this person. I'll be like, why? It's like, oh, because they're black. Oh, because they're Mexican. Oh, because they're a woman. And I was like, okay, but what are their political views?
I remember Ronnie Chen did this interview with, what's that Chinese guy called? The president candidate.
Yang?
Yeah. And he's like, so what's your policy? So you're Asian. And he's like, no, but you need to listen to my policy. And Ronnie Chen's like, are you saying that instead of letting me just vote for you based purely because of identity politics, you actually wanted me to hear about your policy?
Yes.
It's obviously it's a joke that Ronnie's doing. Is a bit that Ronnie's doing.
Yeah.
But identity politics is at some point I feel like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's inclusive. It actually helped me to know who I am. And then at one point you realize, wait, but it's very limited. I'm not exactly who. For example, I'm not Asian American. Sometimes I feel hard to relate to Asian American than to for example, another Mexican immigrant who's also zero generation immigrants, because like second or third generation Asian American, they are American and their problems are more American than our Chinese problem.
I always say this, you can definitely tell because there's always a different accent. It's like, oh, she's from America. She just grew up in a Chinese household or a Japanese household, and that's why they speak, it's very, very fluent. But you can tell the way that they speak it, it's just slightly different. I feel like here, higher.
Interesting.
Here's really? A little higher, yeah.
Oh.
More Valley Girl kind of.
Is that what the typical Asian American girl
when they speak Chinese? That's
so
it's like Valley Girl Asian accent.
Yeah. They have a different kind of struggle. They just I feel like they probably really need a community or identity to feel like, yeah, we're a group, we're part of this. But for me, I feel like I left a collectivist kind of thinking. I am here to be myself, to find my own identity. You know what I mean? It's a very different struggle.
Oh, that's actually quite interesting. Because that makes sense. Because because everyone's so immigrated.
They're so individualistic. They want to find a community.
Yeah, to fit in. Whereas there, it's so you're such a monolith. You're all just basically every time I see pictures of China, it's always, especially the city, it's just people going in and out, just going in different directions. I'm like, this is watching ants move. It's just, especially seeing some of the when they're driving and there's no signs. I'm like, where are people going?
Wait, but have you been to Mexico City?
I haven't been to Mexico City yet.
Oh my
I heard
God.
that place is crazier.
That place, the driver, I've been to many parts of the world. I would say that's one of the craziest drivers. But the next one probably gonna be Roma.
Where?
Italian.
Rome.
Rome, the old city. with narrow roads. The worst, not the worst driver, probably the best drivers, but the craziest drivers. I would say like China. If you go to some like new, because all the cities are built so new, they're so new, and the roads are usually wider. The drivers are sort of still crazy, I would say. Okay.
What about driving here in LA?
Oh my god, it's a different. I thought I wouldn't like driving, but I actually love driving. It makes me feel like I'm in a video game. I'm just like, so in control, and feel like this is freedom.
I say the car is the most American thing in the world.
I know, the city is built for cars.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's literally my jokes about, like, after the car accident, I didn't go to the hospital, but my car went to a mechanic. Because that's how American I am. I don't have health insurance, but my car does have insurance. Like, you take care of your car better than yourself. That's like someone commented on my set and be like, you know what? That's so true. Like, I got into the accident, and then I sent my car to the shop, and then I went back home and had tequila to for my own pain. Cause like, you know, it's illegal to not have insurance for your car, but it's not illegal to not have insurance for yourself.
It is now because of Obamacare.
Oh,
so
that's good.
If you don't have insurance, they actually penalize you. They fine you.
Okay, that's better, I guess. But then if you don't have money to have insurance, how do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, so think about that. And you know what? You can go to. The funnier part is if you get enough fines, you go to jail for not having health care.
And then in jail, you're probably taken care of.
Yeah, they have good health insurance.
Probably should have gone to jail. Jesus Christ.
Like, if you could, would you spend like a weekend, like every other weekend in prison just so you can have free health insurance?
I feel like you've thought about it.
Don't act like I haven't. It's expensive. It's expensive. It's too much. I mean, you probably.
What kind of crime will you commit to go to jail?
It's hard. I don't know. I don't want it to be too bad.
You need to plan it out.
I thought. You know what? I would just run into a cop car. I would just run into a cop car.
Fuck! I almost. Okay. So what happened this morning? I
you almost crashed?
No, I drove my friend to Burbank Airport. It was like 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oof.
Exactly. But at Burbank,
it's so easy.
So easy, much nicer than LAX.
Yes.
Also, speaking of LAX, why is it called LAX, not Lex? Stupid. And so I was driving back home, and I couldn't decide which lane I wanted to go, and this driver, like behind me, apparently got annoyed, and it's a cop car, and they just started to use the siren. I'm like, that's abusing power. You can't.
Were you in the airport?
I was not in the airport. I was like on the road, like right out at the airport.
Okay.
I'm just like a slower driver. You can't use your. Well, we all have road rage, but you can't just like.
Boop boop.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny? Right after this cop got in trouble like a year ago or something like that. Right after they took the mask order off, he saw this one lady walking down, and on the loudspeaker he said, "You don't have to wear your mask, ma'am." He called her out like that, and he got in trouble because of that.
Yeah, they shouldn't think that they are superior and just like can't tell people what to do.
Who was worse, the police in China or the police in America?
Wow, nobody have asked me this question. I feel like there's definitely material in there.
There probably is.
You know what? In China, policemen are not usually equipped with guns.
Yeah.
So literally, you will see people just like in a fight with a police officer on the street. They're literally just
fist fighting. Impressive. So the difference is in China you can fight a cop. The difference in America you get shot by the cop. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Yeah, no.
So you can fight in China, okay, but then...
No, but it's not like it's legal. I'm just saying the cops don't have...
Weapons. They just have a baton?
Yeah, they don't have weapons. But it's the same thing. Like, in the protest that just happened, there were cops. They were like... It was a peaceful protest. Actually, it's a vision.
Visual?
It's a visual that's... They went there to grieve people who died in the lockdown. Especially people in the 7 workers who were locked in a building, and so they couldn't escape the fire, and they literally burned to death. And so the people in Shanghai, for example, went to the street that's named after the province, is named after the city where the fire happened. So they brought flour there, and their policeman just waiting there, and then no. The protest was not violent, but the police were violent towards the protester and dragged them into the police car. So, not good cop. They're I don't know whether they're good cops.
There's always the saying they're just following orders.
They're just following orders, but you need to realize.
That's what the Nazis said. They're like,
yeah,
I'm just
exactly. You are your own human. It's hard. But
because look, they're put in that position for a reason though. Because they're loyal to the state, so it's hard. I don't know.
I was reading a theory about like why they think they're more powerful than they do, is because they're given uniform thing. They're given uniform. They're given like
badges,
and like they wear this things that cover their own identity. So it's literally wipe out their own humanity and identity, and you become this thing that's in a uniform, wearing a badge, wear black color, dark color, and wear a hat, and you're not yourself anymore. That's how
mob mentality.
Yeah, mob mentality.
I feel like that happens a lot because you see all these Antifa guys with like their face covered and helmets, and they go in there. A lot of times you see these protests and people just like getting in fights and throwing shit, pepper spraying everyone.
And see, if you think about it, there are more protesters. There are always more protesters than cops.
Yes.
But why does but protesters are in a vulnerable position because you're wearing your own clothes. You're your person. You're your person. So people in Hong Kong who's been organizing this sort of movement would like suggest like if you go to a protest or organizing such an event, you should like tell everyone to wear white, or to everyone to wear black, or to everyone to hold a yellow umbrella. That way you feel like you're part of a group, and then you feel less vulnerable. Yeah. Sometimes it's a psychological fight, battle. It's not purely physical.
Yeah, because there's so many things that go into it. Like
because you think about it, how Nazi control Nazi are not the majority of the population.
But they had the SS and they had the police and the secret police, and they would go rounding people up. I mean, we kind of had that like right after the World War II. We had, we were so scared of Nazism that we were calling each other out. Like neighbors would call on other neighbors, and then police would come and investigate them, and they're like, "Are you a Nazi? Are you part of the Soviet? This and that?" And it's kind of like, it's crazy to see that. Like one thing that I want to do, I want to see, is us to take back the swastika, because the swastika was taken by the Nazis because it actually comes. I'm not sure if you know this. It comes from.
I don't know this. Tell me more.
It comes from like Buddhist teaching, and so the swastika.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
The swastika comes right up means peace.
Yeah.
But they just tilted at 45-degree angles, so now we associate the swastika with hate, and so I feel like we as a collective need to like grow past that and try and bring back one man used it for evil, but let's bring back what it really means, peace.
It's hard though. It's
because we villainized it so much. It's like we poisoned it. Like he literally. This is one things I'll say about Hitler. Like his legacy will always live on because he poisoned peace. Literally poisoned peace. Like he took a word that meant peace, and now everyone associates it with hate, which is so like easy that no one thinks about, right? Like think about like when we talk about things that we should try and like reclaim, things that we should like change. Like people always changing words and definitions, but why don't we reclaim things that what the true intentions were? Peace.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard because there are gonna be people who see it and still feel the trauma. Because that was such a
traumatic event.
Traumatic event, and like it's not gonna be a switch.
It can't.
And just to reclaim it. But I think you make a point. I'm watching on Netflix this series called How to Become a Tyrant. Highly recommend it.
Why is it I feel like every Asian woman would?
we love
power.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna learn how to become a tyrant. No, but for me, it's like need to understand the power and how people in power are not the truth, and how they manipulate and change the truth, and that's like what comedy does to tell the truth again when the authority is painting the truth with the color they want. For example, Stalin, the Russian guy, the Soviet guy, literally has their own press. The media, it was almost like Fox News or CNN, whatever. All the media, like they change the truth, and then comedians, just like we are our own person, instead of being a propaganda machine.
Yeah.
Nobody paid me to do comedy. So like
she's a secret spy. She's a sleeper cell.
Yeah, I wish. That means I could use comedy as a real day job. Oh gosh, no. But so if anyone want to sponsor my comedy, you still have a chance. But yeah, I think the comedians need to. I don't want to put us on a pedestal.
We shouldn't.
We really shouldn't. At the end of the day, we're fucking around. But even in fucking around, there's a value of free speech in it. You know? And it is a little as little as it is. It's a resistance to the dictatorship or to the tyranny, you know?
Actually, like, it reminds me of, like, the first comedians were actually jesters in the royal court.
Yes.
So, like, think about a more worse audience. You gotta make this one guy laugh, or off with your head.
I know, but they still choose to risk.
And there was a lot of times like they would try and make jokes and fun. Some of them they would land, but sometimes a lot of times off with the head. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's amazing to see how like we've come to like literally dying on stage in front of people.
Being slapped on stage.
Yeah. Or fucking having someone run up on us and try and stab us.
I'm fucking nuts.
Yeah,
that's
but
scary.
I think that's died down though. Like I don't think that happens as much, or it really didn't happen that often. I feel like no one really like walked up on people. I've heard it happen here and there, very very infrequently, but it's very.
But when you think about it, this is kind of a risky profession. Kind of, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you can say that about anything.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
teacher.
I mean, like you're literally there in front of a whole bunch of like a classroom of kids, and like if you're a high school teacher, 20 kids times 5 classrooms, like over 100 people, kids that you're training, and each one of them has an opportunity to make you look fucked up.
Yeah. So I think it's back to language and the power of language, like gestures. And comedians, we are granted this power to speak, the privilege to speak and be listened. But at the same time, you need to bear the responsibility and the prize. You know?
I get that. Do you feel like coming from China and that kind of culture, like you appreciate the ability and the art form and like to
Definitely.
openly speak about shit?
Oh my god. For sure. Well, it's multi-layered. First of all, the fact that I could... This is a form that you cannot be censored. Because it's literally me and the audience unless you cut my mic.
Yeah.
Which thing you could.
You could.
But if it happened, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
If I left no record of it, there's still like that 3 people in the audience that were influenced and heard what I said. It's not like print, writing a book, or even publish online. You know, like in China, the censorship's so harsh that if your article online had any keywords that you didn't want to see, they would take it down. They would. My account recently just got blocked for like 7 days. I couldn't send
in China.
I couldn't send anything to my Chinese group chat.
Why was it blocked? Do you know why?
Because I posted something about the protest.
Oh.
Yeah. So literally, I was put into a online jail. My account was there jail for.
How did they do that when
days.
you were in America? Like how they just cut your service off? Like
they just the account the
ban. Okay.
The account is in the Chinese software.
What app was it?
WeChat. We use WeChat because we can't use Facebook or Instagram in China.
Yeah, but I heard.
Or even WhatsApp.
Yeah, I heard they just took away WhatsApp because that was.
Even WhatsApp. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I heard that because I was like, WhatsApp was so encrypted that it was against their.
Yeah, and then now you can't use WhatsApp anymore.
What do you feel about like TikTok and how Americans want to ban TikTok? You're like, oh, super cell activated.
I think even in TikTok they would ban stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know about whether they're stealing data information. Of course, all big company does. Like Facebook did it.
Instagram
did it.
Yeah.
But I don't think banning anything is the move. You know, if you ban TikTok, what's the difference between you banning TikTok and China banning Facebook? It's just like preventing communication from. I think legally, yes, there could be legislation about how the app shouldn't step on our privacy, the user's privacy, but I also don't think like just like not allowing anyone to use the app will be will send a good message. I don't think so.
I get that. I mean, it's technically TikTok is a spin-off of Vine, because it was Vine.
Really?
Yeah, because it was Vine, and then Vine shut down, and then TikTok took over that kind of, because it was like the way that
it started as a lip syncing app, and I had a joke about it. It was like lip syncing, and it started like we started TikTok, which went viral because it's lip syncing. It just says how good we are following our authorities, what they're saying. It's like but doing stand-up, but you know, doing stand-up comedy, it's about being I'm not taking granted. I'm not taking every chance as I go on stage for granted, because I know how hard it is to speak anything, especially in my country. I don't know how American comedians feel about going up stage, but for me, every time it's something very divine.
Liberating? It's
liberating, and I just feel very grateful that because a lot of my people don't have this platform. Yeah. Like a literal platform underneath you that put you a little bit higher.
If you got a platform out there, the police would be like, whoop.
Yeah. No. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, in China, there's still. I'm so glad to see that stand-up comedy is getting popular in China, but I'm so bummed about how limited their topics are.
There's probably like spaces you can go to underground you could find out, but probably. Like the main clubs and things you're gonna do.
Yeah, no, and there are like Chinese stand-up clubs in America. Because, you know, we wherever we go, we start shit. We gather around. We built Chinatown.
Yeah.
We start a comedy club.
I mean, like, being an Asian comic here, we're like, where are some good spots for like the Asian community for comics to go to that you like to go to and that you appreciate?
I cannot answer.
Like the Crazy Woke Asians.
I've never been there. I don't know anyone.
Oh.
And yeah, again, I just feel like I still identify as international rather than Asian American. So.
Well, it is different.
It is
yeah,
different.
It is.
I don't know. I would love to go on their show, but I don't know. But also, there are so many good Asian comics coming up. In the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite ones, like Ali Wong,
Love her.
Ronnie Chen, and this Jimmy O Yan. Oh, they're very great.
I ain't gonna lie, when I saw Ali Wong's 2 specials, I was like, this bitch is still pregnant?
Oh my god, I remember the first time I saw her special.
Yeah.
That was like mind-blowing. I loved it so much.
Yeah, she was
so
great.
So funny. She's so funny. But also, I love Ronnie Chen because he is Chinese from Malaysia, and he's not American, and so he would. I feel like my style is more and more like trying to learn from him. And I love the stuff he does as a correspondent on the Daily Show. That's like my dream, to be a correspondent on the news show.
Okay.
What's your dream as a comedian?
That's what I always ask people. So my dream is kind of like, obviously, to like do the podcast, but like kind of just be like kind of like a host and kind of like just host shows, host like TV, like kind of like Ryan Seacrest. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you see Ryan Seacrest everywhere?
Yeah.
Kind of like doing stuff like that. Like, I'm always a very energetic guy. Like, one of the things, there's this thing called Lucha Vavum, and they have comedians who commentate on it.
Yeah.
And so like it's you know what Mexican wrestling is, right? The face mask.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So if you love Mexican wrestling, like they're just flying. Lucha Libre, all that shit. So it's called Lucha Vavum. The next show is going to be in February. I'm going to it. It's fucking amazing.
Awesome.
But they have.
You been to a live one?
I've been to. It's going to be my 4th or 5th one.
I went to the stadium in Mexico City.
Oh, what the fuck?
I know.
Damn, you so more traveled. You so fucking international. That's cool.
That's how American I am. I brag about how international I am. No, yeah. Oh my god.
But
you gotta go to visit Mexico City.
I have to. I probably need. I need to go with my family sometime. But yeah, it was just like the podcast definitely, because like what I like to do is just to have the conversation and just get to like. I want people to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's like, you have an opinion. Tell me about it. Why do you have this opinion? Because like, I like to unpack the things and like figure out why you think. Because even if I don't understand it or I don't like your opinion, like, you know, if you're like, oh, I voted for Trump. It's like, all right, well, why did you vote for Trump? What do you like about Trump? And it's like, okay, I see that point, but what about like, here's the counterpoint to your thought process. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about
I think you'll be really good at it. You're already very good at it.
Thank you. I'm just very combative. I like to push back, and my mom always hated that. She's like, Blaize, you're just always so difficult. I was like, I learned it from you. I've never been.
Is your mom very difficult?
No. She's nicer than my dad. My dad's the asshole. He knows that though.
My dad is an asshole too. And my dad's an asshole, but also super compassionate to everyone but my mom.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's hard. My mom would say things like, "You're just like your dad. You talk." You're very self-righteous.
Self-righteous. What strong words your mother has for him?
What strong words?
Yeah, what strong words?
What do you mean?
It's a metaphor, like kind of like she speaks so highly of him.
Yeah. She speaks very highly of him.
I have a joke about my dad. Is I don't have any tattoos, but if I had one tattoo, it'd be a tattoo of my dad. His face like this. But it wouldn't be on my butt. It would be around my butthole.
That would be so funny.
So that every time I take a shit, I get to listen to him talk to me again.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, jokes. It's the groans or laughs. The groans or laughs. You love the...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's not bombing.
That's not bombing. That's just a form of reaction that I want. Cause that, like,
exactly. If they're reacting, you're not bombing.
Like, I like when people go, ooh. It's like, ooh, I'm sorry. Was that too edgy? And I was like, I like when people say, ooh.
Do you like commenting on audience reaction on stage?
Sometimes. It depends.
Do you like other comedians do it?
I do. Like, sometimes, I'm kind of one of those people, like, I'll even comment, I'll say things underneath my breath when comics say something, like, they'll say something, I'm like, oh, that's true, or like, oh, that's funny, you know what I mean? But, like, when someone says something, someone will say, what the fuck, and I was like, yeah, what the fuck, right? Just so something like that, because, like, I've been trying to do a lot more crowd work, like, trying to work it in, like, it's hard, because I always have to say it's giving them the knife, and they can stab you with it. So you got to be able to give them a knife and stab.
It's almost like falling in love.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's the good reaction. That's I had a really good advice from a sensei comedian. He's like.
So Asian sensei comedian, not even.
It's so Asian, yeah. He's like, well, you know him. Do you know Deadpan?
I've met him before.
Well, so it's like it's a dialogue. It's not a monologue.
Yeah, make it a conversation, because like one of the things I've said is like I go up there with energy and like charisma, and I want to make it like I'm talking in a room with my friends.
And he's like, also never say, all right, that's my time, because he's like, in a conversation you would never say, that's my time.
No.
You just say thank you and have a good night. Like he's really specific about dismounting the mic.
That's a good phrase, dismounting the mic.
Yeah.
I like that. How it's kind of like a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna have to steal that. Okay.
Let's do it. What's your favorite comedian?
Oh, so right now my favorite right now I say this, my comedian right now is Mike Sasson. He's the one that, like, he's gonna blow up in a few years, I know it, but he's my favorite comedian right now, because like everything he does is great. But like growing up, I always grew up listening to like George Lopez, Gabriel Iglesias, like Dave Chappelle was a big one, but also like not rock, but Delirious, Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah,
I loved Eddie Murphy. My favorite skit of all time as a kid was the ice cream. He's like, ice cream. The best part was when he does the thing is, I got some ice cream, and you didn't get no ice cream because your dad's an alcoholic and he beats you.
Oh my god.
I love that part. It's just like one of those things, like you just don't see that, and it's just like, your dad's an alcoholic, and then you drop the ice cream, and the other kid's like, you dropped your ice cream. Look at the ice cream. I love.
So you like act out.
Yes,
comedy.
I like to act out comedy. So like Jimmy, you know Jimmy Juxer, right? He does
I don't know Jimmy Juxer.
He's a comedian. He does a lot of deadpan shows.
Mm-hmm.
But his is like way very different. He's like ba 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 ba.
That sounds like singing.
Well, no, it's like that's kind of like his. I'm not going to say any of his jokes right now because that's not my place to say. But like the kind of the cadence he goes is like ba 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 ba. You know what I mean? Like he has a flow, and it's not like, it's more like he's not out there being moving around. He's not like, he's just standing there and he's doing his bit.
You like the two extreme on the spectrum.
Yeah. Because you gotta have it. Because like growing up, like Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, he one thing, he doesn't do a lot of movement, but what he moves around with is he moves with his voice. Yeah. So he's like, it's like, so his body.
Oh my god! Do you know that set that he did with about the first time he visited Snoop Dogg's
I don't think
studio?
So. I don't think so.
Oh my god! It was so good, and he just. With his voice, yes, like how the car and how the gate closed and then how's like the Snoop Dogg say how you do, baby boo, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, one of the people I really appreciate was like Jeff Dunham. I could never do prop comedy. It just feels like he's the one puppet guy.
I know. I hesitate to say I'd really like a ventriloquist, because people's like, ventriloquism is the lowest art of all
it's
art.
not. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
I hate that.
I hate that. I'm like, okay, so everyone should watch only interpretive dance. I love puppetry.
Yes.
I love those things. And I think isn't he getting in trouble because the racial material and the ethnical material? Because you're a white guy, you shouldn't be able to talk about this. I mean, like. Yeah,
he got. But you know what's funny is Fluffy said in one of his specials he's the number 2 comedian on YouTube in the Middle East, and he's like, number 2, who's number 1? He's like, Jeff Dunham.
And Jeff Dunham's puppet.
Yeah, well, specifically like, as like, good type.
Yeah, it's like when you think about who's the biggest comedians in America, it's not the same as the biggest comedian in like Middle East or in India or in China. For example, Russell Peters, the biggest comedian in China, is still really, really funny to me.
But like out here, he has a good brand out here, but he like comparatively to Asia, it's like nothing. Yeah. But like the thing I always find interesting is how like Hollywood curtails a lot of their stuff to Chinese audience. Like
right now, but I think they are stopping because now China is like not giving them the revenue that they wanted to see because the COVID and the dictatorship.
Because there was only like 20 or 50 movies that are made from out of the country that they're allowed in, something like that.
Something like that. It's harder and harder to see a foreign movie in China, and they would cut it. They would like. Edit it before they show the public. They would edit out the thing that they don't want people to see. It's fucked up. There's so many things I could talk about this current government and the fucked up thing.
But I need to go visit.
Someone needs to set me up a political asylum.
That's why you're in America. Remember that.
For political asylum? No, I hope not. Oh gosh, my mom's like, you're in America for school, not doing this weird shit. I don't think she understands yet what I'm doing.
Well, you're gonna be an actress and a comedian, so I mean, yeah. I mean, if you went home and told your mom that you're an actress, how would she be upset?
No, I don't think so. I think she'll be proud. I think after my dad passed away, she had this new perspective on life. It's like, my mom's pretty YOLO. She now understands how you will die today or tomorrow or in 3 months or whenever.
Yeah, I mean, technically you can die. You can have a heart attack and die like that.
That's how my dad died.
Yeah.
Just heart attack. You don't know. You never know.
Life is a mystery. Like, I always say this whenever I'm going through life, like 5 years in the future and 5 years in the past. Like 5 years ago seems like not that far ago, but 5 years from now seems like so far in the future. Like, how can I fathom where I'm gonna be in 5 years? Whereas you look back 5 years ago, like, oh shit, how far I've gone in such short a time.
Yeah, sometimes it feels so short. Sometimes it's like long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes an hour could feel like a year if you're bombing on stage.
Oh my god. Sometimes you're on there and you're just like, how much time I got?
Yeah.
2 minutes. Alright. How much time I got? A minute and a half. Oh,
that's
shit.
So funny. Wait, did you give me the light because it's 30 seconds or a minute?
Yeah, you're like, is that the light? It's like,
the light, can I get... That's so funny.
I love it. It's some comics they just need to just breathe. Yeah. Breathe on stage. It's that how it is. But we've been here for almost about 2 hours now, so
wow, we really talked a lot.
Yes. It was a great conversation. Enjoyed it. We've been all over the place.
I think you're a great conversationist.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But before we take off, is there anything that you would like to promote, like your special? Where can people find your special?
I'm still debating on whether to drop it online.
YouTube?
Because probably YouTube, but I'm very scared still.
Oh.
Yeah, because I do some... I may or may not did a campaign, like a presidential campaign against Xi as a joke. As a joke, I'm like, I'm gonna run for president in 2027. Anyway, so I don't know when I'll drop it, but right now on my YouTube account there is my 8-minute set. You can go watch.
What's the? Can you
It's called "Did China Start COVID?"
Oh, what?
Stand-up comedian Olivia Xing. Go find out if China started COVID.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll find out.
Oh my God. So I've been having so many comments from that set. And a lot of misogynistic ones. They're like, oh my God, they're like, there is one funny female comic in the world. No, not this one. I'm like, cool, you think you're funny?
Ha ha. How's it being a female artist? Like, do you feel like the misogyny, is it really that, like...
Yeah.
Is it really that bad?
I think people... You literally look at you and ask you to prove to them if females are funny. Like, you don't look like a male comedian. Think about if you see someone bombing, a man bombing, you don't think, oh, men are not funny.
Yeah.
But if you see a female comedian bombing, you'll be like, females are just not funny.
I never thought that.
It's when... It's just like...
I never know where that come from.
I don't know. I don't get it. I think women are very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. They think they're so smart by commenting
that men are. I don't get that. I never understand the insignificance of your own intelligence that you have to.
It's so stupid. It's the same thing with all the stereotype of that.
Asian
can't drive.
Yeah. Can't see.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Good at math. Not this one.
not this one. But I do think I am funny.
There you go. She, you know what? She lost the math skills, gained the funny skills.
Hey, I think it's worth it.
It was worth it. I failed geometry 4 times, but fuck it. Instagram?
Instagram, it's Olivia Crossing.
Olivia Crossing. TikTok or any other like social media. LinkedIn if you need a new job.
Always looking for a new job or adoption. Send your CV to me as a maybe I'll marry you for green card purpose. Only.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It'll just be a loveless marriage.
It will be a loveless marriage. But I will be funny.
You just have to come to a lot of open mics with her.
To support me and my bringer show.
And your bringer show is like, do you really love her? It's like, yeah, I go to all her mics. He really must love her.
Yeah, that's the true love.
That's the true love. If you go to open mics more than once a week. Damn. Because it's funny stories. Before I got into comedy, I actually used to date a comic. Then I got into comedy.
You were tortured so hard. You're like, I need to start this so that you could come to mics with me.
You know what's even worse? When we broke up, she said she hated my jokes.
No.
Right? Right? I was like, damn. Now I need to do it.
Damn.
Yeah.
You need to You know what? My ex-boyfriend also almost
said that?
I bet at one point he definitely thought that I wasn't that funny. But I will give him more credit than that. But yes, I think he's like... A lot of men sometimes would think like men are funnier. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just because men are more relatable to them because they're men. But I don't know. I find Ali Wong super
fucking
funny.
hilarious.
Fucking hilarious.
One of my favorite writers is Tina Fey.
Oh my God.
I love Tina Fey.
I love Tina Fey.
She's so great. I love Mean Girls. One of my favoriteest movies. I swear.
Wednesdays we wear pink.
I always do. And
always
do.
That's
I got shoes. I got Wednesday shoes that I don't wear on Wednesdays.
That's the cutest thing I ever heard.
I actually have a sweater. It has I forget the guy.
You should put that on your dating profile.
I do.
Oh, okay. That will make you like very likable among women.
I love Tina Fey. I like 30 Rock and
30 Rock is hilarious.
Park and Recs.
Oh yeah.
Like everything she does, like she has. I always, and you know what? It's gotten to the point where I watch so much Tina Fey. I'm like, that's a Tina Fey joke.
Yeah.
Because you can just tell how she writes it.
Cicely Strong, who just retired from SNL.
Mm.
I love Cicely Strong. She's from ColArts too.
Mm.
We're from the same school. Hopefully one day I'll go to an SNL too.
I would feel it's hard. It would be hard
oh
for
my
me to do
god!
this now.
One of my favorite comedian is who wrote Big Sick. What's his name again?
Big Sick.
Fuck.
Steve Carell?
Pakistani guy.
Pakistan. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm horrible with names. Horrible with names. When it comes to names, I'm horrible.
Oh my god! I need to find
Pakistani.
this out.
What is he on? What is he on? SNL or Big Sick?
Wait. Big. He wrote Big Sick. Big Sick. Not Bug Sick. Big Sick.
Bug Sick.
Oh my god! What's his name? Oh, Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh.
Oh my god, he's so funny.
I like him. I love him.
So
and then the guy who what's his name? The little one from Parks and Rec. The little guy who does he does the like poop everywhere joke. Assad, is it Assad? Azid. Aziz? I'm saying it wrong.
Azid. I think it's I don't know.
I'm saying I'm horrible with names.
Aziz,
I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
Aziz, I'm horrible with names. Like people ask me, it's like, oh, do you know this actor from this movie? I'm like,
yeah.
Nope.
Same.
Nope. Mm-hmm. I know like a few, like Jackie Chan. I know like Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Evans, but like, I'm not going to go out of my way to know every single actor.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. All right, but Olivia, yes. So we got the YouTube, we got the Instagram, TikTok.
Olivia Xing too.
Olivia Xing too.
No, not two, just Olivia Xing.
Olivia Xing as well.
Yeah. Olivia Xing as well. Yeah.
Okay, so we got all the social media. Anything else that you would like to put out there? Any shows coming up in the next year, or anything that you're gonna be working on?
Follow my Instagram. I'll post about my show schedule. I have shows coming up. Yes.
I'm not that bad.
yeah. Well, the closest one is probably January 4th.
Okay.
This Nuts show at the Federal Bar.
Oh, that one. Oh, that's a good place.
It's a good. I love Vegas. Vargas. It's a really nice booker, comedian, just nice guy, nice human being.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Olivia. Thank you for coming through.
Thank
and
you.
Take care, y'all. Bye.
Bye.